Greetings, brothers and sisters. We are here again. We are continuing our reaction to God Logic, Myles Christian, and Richie. Today, we are going to be considering the subject called Was Ellen G. White a Plagiarist? There seems to be a very common discussion amongst non-Adventists to prove that Ellen G. White was a false prophet. Well, we're going to look into that. We're going to look into that right now and see what we find. All right, but before we do, please like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff that only you can do. Please take your time. Take your time. Stop, breathe. Click, like. There you go. Wasn't difficult. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right down into it.
I go by what the Bible say. I don't just run to Ellen G. White.
Richie,
She's not my source.
Richie, Ellen said that if you go against her writings, the Spirit of God is withdrawn from you. If you go against her writings, your fate will be no better than Korah, Dathan, and Abiram, meaning you better get ready for the barbecue. This idea that, oh, well, Ellen White said this over here, this is part of the problem, brother, in humanity. She contradicts herself constantly. She has a parcel tongue, a split tongue. And this is because you probably don't know the history around her plagiarism. She was constantly stealing from all sorts of people, compiling these books and making a killing off of it. And because of that, she was not what is called an integrative thinker. She would not...
Okay, making a killing out of it. That is so silly. And this, all of the, because I heard that a whole lot. People say she was a plagiarist. Like to use that. Walter White, guy that wrote the White Lie. I haven't read those garbage, but I have the gist of it. So he make a big deal out of the plagiarism idea. She did borrow from other people. That's a fact. So, but she didn't tell. She didn't give the what do you call this thing now? Credits. So where she got it from. This woman used to read a whole lot. People knew the books that was in her library. People used to go to her house often. People used to talk to her. She was a great student of history. Why? Because she was looking for things that happened in the past that she saw. When she had visions, there wasn't dates in there. There was no dates. A lot of stuff she didn't put in her book because she didn't know where to put it. Even when she read in other books after she had written her book, why didn't you put this in the books? I didn't know where to put it. Didn't know when it happened. And she did her best to go chronologically. This happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. That's the way she wrote her books. She saw these things. But she didn't write them out. Why? Because she didn't know when it happened. Didn't know when it happened. She needed to go to history to find out when these things took place. And then she would write what she saw. And sometimes what was written in those books was what she saw. Didn't see her need to correct it. And she did correct some of those things that she wrote, right? It wasn't all verbatim. It wasn't all verbatim. Things that the people that was in those books that they didn't know, that they didn't miss, she added it in hers. It wasn't all verbatim. You see, that's beside the point. When she wrote her books, a lot of people read the books, It wasn't like people was illiterate. Especially Seventh-day Adventist people. Seventh-day Adventist people was not illiterate. We used to study, and we used to study a lot. We used to read histories. Just like how she was, most Seventh-day Adventists, especially the preachers, was just like that. It wasn't like she took something and they're like, well, I read that in this book. It's not what this other author said. Let me go check that out. Oh my goodness. What was she doing? She took it from this person. They all knew where it came from. It wasn't a secret. And today, Myles and everybody else think that this was some tightly kept secret or something. You want to know how this took place? People reading her books and coming to the conclusion that everything that she wrote came from the mind of God. Everything that she wrote. It had to be original. And if it wasn't original, this is the problem that this guy, Walter White, had with the white lie. This is the problem that he had. Because he was brainwashed into thinking that everything that Ellen G. White wrote came from the pen of God. I mean, God was there, took possession of her, and God was writing that out himself. And when they found these things in other books, wait a minute, she said that too. She said exactly the way this person said, and this person's book is older than hers. So obviously, this person didn't get it from her. She had to get it from him. Or her, or whoever. Oh my, she's a false prophet. That's all it took. It's all it took for these people. And how did that happen? Because they fooled themselves. They had this idea of Ellen White that was totally fictitious in their mind. They all thought that if she wrote something, that had to be original. That couldn't come from nowhere else. No one else could have known this. And they get stuck on the plagiarism instead of the message. You think Ellen G. White cared? Do you think she would care today? She wouldn't care today either. She would do it again. She would do it again. Because the reason why it was written, it was for our understanding, for our learning, for our benefit. That's why it was written. It was written for our benefit, so that we'll know what happened. And if someone else had the correct thing written in their book, if that would happen, and that's what she saw happen, no, but she had to change. She had to put in her own words. So if she had put it in her own words, that would have been better. It would still find a way. That sounds more or less like what this person said, right? I mean, it is so stupid to actually come to this conclusion, that this idea that they have about the plagiarism, make such a big thing out of it. Who cares? Ellen G. White didn't care. And she was alive, she would write it again. She would do the same thing again. Because you're missing the point why she wrote the books. The whole point, oh, she should have done that. She didn't care about what you think. It is for our learning. That's what it was for. If you want to throw it away, you have that right. You can do whatever you want. But not everybody is of this nonsensical persuasion. Not everybody. Now I read her books, now I understand what she's saying. And if she got what she put in her book from somewhere else, and it was true wherever she got it from, I don't have no problem with that. I don't know iota of a problem with that. It's the truth. No, they would feel a lot better if she lied. You can't make this up. It is so stupid. This problem that they have with the plagiarism, it is stupidity at the highest level. And what is even worse, Seventh-day Adventists can't figure it out. We can't figure it out. Oh, mercy. I guess we deserve what we're getting from these people.